I don't know if you guys are familiar with Battle of the Planets. Battle of the Planets at the time was very much well known to be Alex Ross's favorite cartoon. He grew up loving Battle of the Planets. He grew up loving Shazam. So Top Cow gets the big fish during this boom period. And what exactly is the boom period? Well, thanks to Image and Devil's Due, they bring back G.I. Joe with some amazing J. Scott Campbell covers. And then Pat Lee and Dreamwave, they come out with Transformers. And Transformers was so big. I was at the comic shop at Hall of Heroes in New Jersey back then. We would get phone calls day and night for weeks straight about Transformers because there were so many different incentive covers and so forth. Wildstorm got Thundercats. So all of these 80s cartoon properties, some of them toy lines, came back in a really big way. Voltron came back. And this was Top Cow's contribution to all of it. And we kind of want to say they were the best at it. I mean, art director Alex Ross. A lot of Alex Ross's art direction, or the way how he did it, here was a template for what he did for years. He did a year's worth of years. It was called the Kirbyverse for Dynamite Comics. We have to make a note of it because now when Alex Ross is attached to a Marvel book, and he did the same thing with Immortal Hulk, by art director, he's also pretty much an editor-in-chief of a single book. It's a glorified title, but we kind of want the word art in front of Alex Ross. It's a brilliant position that emerges at this time that still affects comic books to this day. But we have Udon Studios here, right? I mean, we see Udon in the credits because Udon took over, like right here, say Udon Studios. Udon, they took over Deadpool for Marvel when Marvel shifted away from the X titles, and Deadpool became Agent X, and Udon were the guys behind that. Udon also Darkstalkers and Street Fighter during this boom period. They actually brought back Joe Mad. So we get this very Neil Adams crooked panel here. And you guys may have forgotten this because around this time period too, their counterpart, Wildstorm, got Robotech. Wildstorm got Speed Racer and made the greatest Speed Racer comic of all time. But this was really bringing in a manga style, coloring, all of it. But it's like positioned to be manga, but it's actually an anime style. This is the DreamWorks method, where we would have like nicely rendered foregrounds, but the backgrounds, a lot of the backgrounds are just colored. They're just pencil, but they're nicely painted. It's a really big era to go over, but again too, like we get stuff like this. So it's their American comic books inspired by manga with the look of anime. And when I say inspired by manga, you can just simply look at some of the action. The action, right? Like this is, but then like this is also what makes manga a quick read, but it's also when it's working, there's like a really cool subconscious thing that happens when you're reading manga. Because you read it so quick, but it's a little bit of a experience. Very few books, by the way, do that. But then, a little bit of the motif of these books are these crooked, double-page panel spreads. Very Baroque. We will detail the story in this, but not until I think, all but one of the Wildstorm miniseries for Thundercats. I always wanted this statue. I don't know why. Because you know why? To me, this looks like Mark Silvestri. It just looks like Mark Silvestri. I don't have any of the Devil's Due G.I. Joe. I don't have any of the Dreamwave Transformers. I had some of the Wildstorm Robotech. That's a little bit recent here. Tomb Raider 25. This is huge because this is Tomb Raider and Witchblade teaming up. Right, really cool stuff. But there's a lot of this boom, and this, to me, this boom, it infected American comics. Every publisher like took this, copied it, and ran with it. It created a little bit of a digest size run too, where comic books went digest size because we're thinking, again, like a little bit what happened recently with modern day publishing, that people wanted American comics smaller, pocket size. It really is. Like the initial spreads here are always right, except for this one, right? This is like after everything gets wiped out. They kept it up for a while. But I love this. And I don't have enough from, what I'm trying to say is I don't have enough from this time in comics. Look, Battle of the Planets, Witchblade. There also is a Battle of the Planets Thundercats that Alex Ross does 2 alternate covers for, or the proper covers. That might have been the last time Wildstorm and Top Cow even crossed over. Tom Judge, we will profile Tom Judge, End of Days. This is Paul Jenkins. This is really nice stuff. We just kind of went through that. So I just wanted to highlight this series because it's not just anyone into manga or anime. I think if you wanted to study and understand, maybe the last great, here it is right here, the Thundercats Battle of the Planets. When we get like a trend that pops in the American comic book industry, we have a few decades, like really starting 90s, 2000s, 2010s, where the industry repeats it. They absorb it, they repeat it, and it's great for the industry because it's just guaranteed sales. Those types of sales keep companies afloat, can keep them afloat for a few years. And the 80s property boom might be the last one. It is a movement that came out of the 90s. It's not like the Bad Girl era, but you can say collectively, outside of a few books, was unreadable. The 2000s 80s property boom produced readable comics, and that's really the big takeaway. There was also 1 or 2 art books just from the Alex Ross artwork alone. So there's a lot here for me to properly present it, but we're kind of in this float period now for Top Cow Tuesday. So I'm taking a little bit of that readjustment period to, keep the show going, but to bring you guys, look, we have Hush over here, right? Hush. But to bring you guys something a little bit more, and look, see, we call it Battle of the Planets. It was G-Force at one time, I think, when it first hit. Here's the Battle of the Planets guidebook with special cover by Alex Ross. And at the time too, and this will be a video too around this time, me just highlighting some Top Cow crossovers. But it was like a crossover heavy period in American comics, with like the 80s, all the 80s properties roaring back, and thanks to that boom, because G.I. Joe never went away from that period. Thundercats is big today, but G.I. Joe and Transformers never quite went away. To be continued. So I don't even have. I have 1 through 10. I think this goes up to 12. There's just a lot of this that I'm missing. Now, all of these had alternate covers, as you guys saw with the first one, but the idea would be to get the Alex Ross run. So I need like a different number one. I just got to do a little bit more research, spend a little bit more money to get these. I think that there were some nice Dynamic Forces foil ones. I think those might have been original covers. But there's a lot of takeaway from this. And, you know, I think this was a much better read than G.I. Joe Transformers at the time. I did like a lot of the Wildstorm Thundercats. It was really kind of like Wildstorm Thundercats and Battle of the Planets for just big property comebacks. All right, AKAPADers, a little bit of a quick one today, right? Nothing too crazy. Wanted to bring this to your attention. It's Top Cow Tuesday. I love you guys.